When I think about the goodness of Jesus and what he has done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah, thank God for saving me. Thank you everyone for joining me here today for another piano lesson with Warren. It's Wednesday, and so you know if it's Wednesday, there's a tutorial coming your way that's going to talk about gospel music, gospel chords, gospel licks, runs, lines, theory, everything you need to improve your gospel playing. Whether you want some of the new school gospel jazz stuff, or you just want some of the old school stuff like what we're going to talk about today, this channel is where you want to be. All right? So I've been getting a lot of questions about the old school stuff. You know, a lot of folks have been saying, hey, there are a lot of tutorials out there on people teaching modern gospel and passing chords and reharmonization and all of that stuff. But there's not a lot of old school stuff. Can you do some of that? So over the next few weeks and months, I'm going to be diving into a lot of the old school bluesy gospel style and how I play it, some of the things that I think about and how I approach it. In today's tutorial, we're going to talk about utilizing the blues scale because, you know, people are familiar with the blues scale, but then they go, how do I use it? You know, how do I use the blues scale? I can understand the major scale. I am playing in the key, so the major scale is necessary, but then how do I use the blues scale? So I'm just going to give you some ideas to think about, give you some examples of how I utilize the blues scale to give you that sort of gospel, old school, bluesy feel. If you're not familiar with what the blues scale is, this is the blues scale. So I'm playing in the key of G. First thing you have to know is that I am in the key of G. So that's our home. This is where everything we're doing harmonically lives, in that key of G. Now, what we go ahead and do now is to apply the blues scale on top of that. Think about you're making a sandwich. You have your bread and you got your bologna or, I don't know, your ham or whatever you want to put in there. Think about that ham as the blues scale we're going to slap on top of that bread. And so the blues scale... So it's important to know we have our major scale, that's where the chords comes from, and then we have the blues scale that we're going to put on top of that for some flavor, right? Now, another thing that we also do to give you that bluesy gospel feel is we go to the relative minor, which is E, and we apply the relative minor blues scale, and so that's where we get the minor blues. So we have... So when we're playing in the key of G or in any key, we're not just utilizing the blues scale for that key. We're using the relative minor blues. You know, so I can use my G blues. I can go to my relative minor and play that blues. And we combine them. So now if we go back to that song I did in the intro, when I think about the goodness of Jesus, first thing we start to do, we make all our chords dominant seventh. All the chords are dominant seventh. To get you that bluesy style of playing, we don't use major sevenths at all. Major sevenths gives you a whole different sound, more R&B, smooth jazz sound. We want that sort of rugged, rich, old school gospel stuff. It's all dominant seventh chords. So the first thing we do, we take our one chord and we make it into a dominant seventh. When I think about the goodness of Jesus and what he has done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah. Thank God for saving me. All the chords are dominant seven. So the chords that I just used there, my one. Before I go to my five, I slip in what we call a secondary dominant. So when I think about the goodness of Jesus and what he has done, secondary dominant. It's an A7 going to a D7. And if you don't know what a secondary dominant is, I've done a lot of courses on it or videos, and I'm going to post the tutorial number for the video right here, and I'm also going to put it in the description. That takes me to five. For me, again, dominant seventh. My soul cries out, hallelujah. Four is a dominant seventh, then to sharp four, which is a diminish. Another sort of important chord for that bluesy sound, the diminished chord. Then I'm doing what we call a turnaround. Thank God to six, for say, 2, 5 in me. And then we do this. Nice turnaround. You can also do it like this. And then we take you back to the top. So you see how all of these notes I'm using, because of the dominant seventh flair, they're all derivative from the blues scale. So now we start to put some little what we call riffs, you know. When I think all those, you know, when I'm just vibing on that 1/7 chord, that's all I'm doing. And in my right hand, I could do stuff like this. You know, just like a B flat chord. But you know, all of these notes, they come from the blues scale. So I'm just picking notes from the blues scale to create little triads that I can move around. We know this chord, you know? It's an A minor chord from the key of G. So B flat, resolving to that A minor. Then, even though I'm in the key of G, see how I can just throw in that G minor right there? Come down to this F major, and then back to my G. All those are blues movements. When I think about the goodness of Jesus and what he has. Now when I do and what he has, passing chord to take me to 6. Done for to my 2, me. And what I'm doing with this nice bass line right here. Just walking it with the walking up to the 3rd while keeping that octave up here, you know. If you have a bass man, you probably wouldn't do that. You would do something different. But I'm the bass man right now, so I can do. for my soul. And that little shifts that I do right there, all those. I'm going to be doing a more detailed course in all of these movements, and I'm going to do it in all 12 keys. So this is just an introduction to sort of whet your appetite so you can see how I do the stuff. My soul cries out, hallelujah, thank God. So what I'm doing right there for that turnaround, when I do hallelujah, thank God. A nice little run there. Beautiful. When you do it fast, my soul cries out, hallelujah, thank God. That's it, you know? And a lot of the other times I'm just playing the blues scale. So one of the things I recommend you can do is to sit with the blues scales and try to develop what we call licks out of it. So little turns. These are the things I've sit and practiced. And again, I'm going to be doing more detailed stuff on this. Possibilities, you know. When I think about the goodness of Jesus and what he has done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah, thank God for saving me. When I think about the goodness of Jesus and what he has done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah, thank God, oh, for saving me. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. I just wanted to show you the possibilities that When it comes to the old school style of playing, it's not so much the chords. The chords are usually simple. It's a few things you got to bear in mind. The blues scale, all the chords are dominant sevenths, and there's a lot of detached. I barely use the pedal, so there's a lot of... no pedal, and it's just nice jab and go. Nice jab and go, get that sort of a swing feel. If you haven't been listening to a lot of this kind of music, you have to start. If you want to be able to get the sort of what I call the essence, because learning the theory and me saying use the blues scale and make the chords dominant seventh, that's just half of it. That feel has to come from within, and to sort of, tap into that side of you, you need to be listening to hours of that kind of music a week. I've been listening to stuff like this since I was a child, so it's sort of ingrained in my DNA. But that's one of the things I've learned over the years. If you want to pick up a certain style of music, you have to immerse yourself into just listening to that for a bit. All right? For those of you who are like, yes, this is it, I like this stuff, I want more of this, I'll be doing more detailed what I call old school gospel licks, lines and runs and chord movements in all 12 keys. So y'all be on the lookout for that, because, hey, a lot of you have been asking me about that. And so I figured, well, if I do one key, it's just a matter of time before someone say, hey, can you do it in this key and that key? So we're going to go through all 12 keys so you see the movements are going to be the same generally, but, the notes change, the fingerings change, and I want to keep you consistent. Because a lot of this stuff that I'm doing to make it smooth and sort of fluid, you got to be using good fingering technique, or it's not going to work. So when I go through all 12 keys with the concepts, that's one of the things I want to show you, is that the fingerings change and you have to change to adapt with that. All right? So without any further ado, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for sticking around to the end. Please give me a subscribe, a like, a thumbs up, and leave a comment in the comment section below. I always jump in to say hello and answer questions. If you have any questions, you can leave it there. And also, if you're wondering, okay, where do I go from here? Well, I got just what you need. I offer a membership over at pianolessonwithwarren.com, where I teach more detailed courses. You get to take quizzes, you get backing tracks, you get PDF download, you get lead sheets and scores. You can go much deeper, not just with this concept, but in all different areas of gospel music, from the passing chord stuff to how to voice chords to a lot of the new school stuff. And also, if you're looking to just expand your repertoire, you want to learn more songs and you want to learn it the way I teach it, and with my styles, I offer a whole range of song breakdowns, hymn reharmonization, so you get to see how I use these chords in not just old school gospel or new school gospel, but the old school hymns, the hymns that some folks don't really know how to make it more interesting. I show you how to utilize a lot of these concepts in that also. All right? So head over to Piano Lesson with Warren, check us out, see if it's right for you. All right? So until then, keep listening, keep singing, and keep practicing, because this is how you will truly become a better musician. And I will see you next week for another tutorial. Bye for now.